Welcome everyone to the June 6th meeting of the Goffstown Zoning Board of Adjustment. Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, good evening, everyone. The Goffstown Zoning Board is an elected board of 5 members and up to 5 appointed alternates. Currently, the board has 5 members and 1 alternate. If anybody is interested in joining the zoning board, please contact the Town Hall Planning and Zoning Office. The board has a posted agenda for each meeting and tends to follow the items in order. The board will open the public hearing on an application to receive testimony from applicants, abutters, and affected parties and ask questions about the request. The public hearing will then be closed and the board will enter into a deliberative session to discuss the merits of the request. For each application, the board will decide to approve with conditions, deny, or continue to a later meeting. You are welcome to watch the deliberations this evening, or you can contact the Town Hall Planning and Zoning Office to get the results the following day. For an applicant's request to be approved, there must be an affirmative vote of at least 3 members. An applicant can request a continuance if there is not a full 5-member board to act on an application. We have all 5 members here tonight. If you're aggrieved by a decision made by the ZBA tonight, you have a right to appeal to the Superior Court. However, before appealing to the Superior Court, you must request a rehearing with this board to preserve your right to appeal. Rehearing request must be filed within 30 days of the decision and state all reasons why the decision was unlawful or unreasonable. Failure to request a rehearing may forfeit your ability to appeal to Superior Court. We'd ask everyone to please silence your cell phones for the course of the hearing. And I'll ask the board members to introduce themselves, starting with Alan, please.
Alan Yaton, member.
Gail Lebrecht, member and recording secretary.
Denise Langley, vice chair.
Leonard Stewart, chairman.
Jason Cody, member.
Jack Shepherd, building inspector, code enforcement, and zoning.
All right, and moving right into our first and only application tonight, we have St. Anselm's, we have St. Anselm's College requesting variances to allow for the construction of a new 3-story nursing and health building on the St. Anselm College campus, which will have a maximum building height of 56 feet, whereas 35 feet is permitted per section 4.3, the Table of Dimensional Regulations of the Goffstown Zoning Ordinance. The property is located at 100 St. Anselm's Drive, map 3, lot 41, and it's zoned residential 2.
I'm going to recuse myself from this.
All right, can we have... Let me back up for a moment if I could. Forgot to approve the minutes.
We can do those after.
All right,
Yeah,
we'll wait
after.
to approve the minutes at the end.
The one thing you might want to do is just remind the applicant that we don't have a full 5-member board.
Yes, and we'll do that. As an advisory to the applicants, because Jason Cody has had to recuse himself, if we have less than a full 5-member board, remembering that it takes 3 affirmative votes to pass, you have the option, you can proceed or you can postpone to another meeting.
I think we'll proceed.
All right, thank you. Can I have a motion on regional impact?
So moved, find no regional impact.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Abstain.
All right, approved 3-0. All right, Gentlemen, the stage is yours. Please tell us about your application and what the college is planning to do.
Fantastic. So I'm James Robinson from TF Moran, the civil engineer on the site. With me here tonight is Bill Furlong from St. Anselm's College.
The CFO at the St. Anselm's College.
And Doug had to step out for a minute. Doug's our architect from La Valley Brensinger, and he'll be back shortly.
What's his last name?
Shiloh. So the campus, I'm sure you're all familiar with. Shown here, St. Anselm's Drive is here. Our building site is at the location of the existing Poisson Hall, the existing two-story building here. We'll be tearing that down and replacing it with a three-story building. I'll talk more about that in a few minutes. But just generally, campus overview. Runlet Hill passes through. Runlet Hill Road passes through the campus here. The main entrance is right here, coming into Poisson Hall. And there's a secondary entrance between the chapel and Geisel Library here. This is the main quadrangle, upper quadrangle, lower quadrangle. We'll be talking more about Alumni Hall later on tonight. Geisel Library is the building right next door. The Abbey Chapel is over here, and Hillary Hall is the other building adjacent to Poisson. And we have a big lawn, about 300 feet wide, over 300 feet wide, separating us from St. Anselm Drive. And so the campus is made up of several parcels. The parcel in question is this one. It stretches all the way up to Daniel Plummer Road off the plot plan here. And additional parcels here. This one is not owned by the college, sorry. This one off the map in Bedford. It's the town line right here. For the Goffstown Bedford, the Goffstown Manchester town line is right down here, just past. This is College Road here, and then blanking on the name. Sorry, New Hampshire Institute of Politics. Rockland, thank you. Yeah.
What is in Goffstown, New Hampshire?
So that's general introduction to the site. To pick the location where we wanted to build our proposed building, we had an extensive site selection process. We looked at other locations on campus. One of the other locations was Baruti Hall down here on the lower quadrangle, and next to Get Boys Hall, and just below Kool-Aid Science Center here. So Baruti Hall would have been a knockdown and replace as well, and this one by Get Boys would have been a new construction. Would have had to relocate this road around, those two sites were deemed close, but no cigar. Poisson was definitely our far and away our best site for the proposed building. Poisson Hall is 2 stories, houses mainly classrooms and faculty offices, and also has a data hub center. So it's a very functional building. Don't take the decision to knock it down lightly, but like I said, it's the best option. The values of the site selection committee were to maintain an academic core for the college, and we try and keep the residential facilities on the outer skirts of the property. There's a lot of constraints to the property. This whole area down here is all wetlands. I don't know if you can see the wetland delineation, but that is on this view as well. Substantial amount of wetlands down in this area, and this area behind Gerard Hall and the Institute of Politics. This is all wet down in here. So a lot of site constraints. These 3 parcels over here are part of the Abbey. So the college doesn't want to build on the Abbey's the monk's property over here. So that's the general layout of the campus again, and so the proposed building we're looking at, 3 stories. It's intended to increase the size of the nursing program. Not so much the undergraduate. The undergraduate population of the college has stayed very consistent through the years. This is mainly focused at enlarging the program for community nursing. Providing more space, bringing community nurses from around the community, providing better facilities to improve the nursing program's effectiveness and outreach. And Doug will talk more about that in a few minutes when we get into building programming. So we're here primarily to ask for a height variance. The proposed height that we're looking for is 56 feet, and that's to the median line of the roof. Hey, there's Doug.
Sorry about that.
No worries. Perfect. That's the board I was looking for right now. Timing's impeccable. So 56 feet to median line of the roof. So again, there's two roof lines. There's a higher roof line, a lower roof line, and a flat roof line. Our request is for the higher roof portion. So the height to the peak is about a little under 66 feet. The height to the median is a little under 56. And height to the flat is about 45. So that'll give you a good range. The ask is for 3 stories because that is the best layout for the site and because the site is constrained. And I'll get more into that in a few minutes. Yeah, and Doug will get into why we're looking for 3 stories in particular in a few minutes. So again, let's talk a little bit more about the site constraints. So this is Poisson Hall. Let's see, just barely see this outline here. Sticks out a little bit past the face of the proposed building. So the intent is to align the front face of our proposed building with the library, the face of the library next door on the south side, down page, north of up page. So on the south, we're constrained by trying to align with Geisel and also to have a front yard setback to this road. Now, I understand all the roads on site are private roads, they're not town roads, but we like to have a setback just like you like to have setbacks on your town roads. And provide that open feeling as driving into the campus. So we provided a 40-foot setback from the curb line to the proposed building on the east face. 50 feet between us and the library, roughly 50 feet. And that's just enough space for a little couple handicap parking spaces in there. So if we pushed any further west, our handicap parking wouldn't work. And part of the reason is that there's a double sidewalk there that has to ramp down. Geisel Library is 6 feet higher than the proposed finished floor and the existing finished floor of Poisson. So that's our constraint to the west. To the north, we're not constrained until we get to this electric line. This is a data hub, fiber optic data backbone for the campus. To try and relocate that would be very disruptive to the data infrastructure on the campus. And what's one of the goals of the project is to minimize disruption to the student population, to the campus, and to the function of the college. So, and that drives the site selection. So, as far as that goes, and also, just this lawn in general, we don't want to encroach on that because that's a valued, asset to the community, a valued asset to the college, and originally part of their signature of having that big beautiful lawn. It's Drive over St. Anselm's Drive, so. I'll jump right into utilities. If anyone doesn't have any questions yet. Oops, wrong board. Sorry, which place is Doug? So first of all, drainage. I know this is more of a planning board issue, but I'll just cover this quickly. So most of the existing portion of the site drains out here to College Road. It's picked up by a series of catch basins here, and out here on College Road. Drains down College Road this way. There's a small portion of the west face of the building and the green space here that shoots down into the court behind Hillary Hall, and that gets picked up by catch basins in that courtyard. goes down through a underground detention infiltration treatment system behind Liberty Learning Center. Past more pipes underneath Armlet Hill Road, comes to the surface in a surface well, gets picked up by a catch basin down here, and rejoins that same closed drainage system with the rest of it. And that shoots down and discharges to the wetlands that are behind Institute of Politics, comes back onto St. Anselm's land. So goes out onto the public road for a little ways and then comes back on St. Anselm's Road for the discharge location. So that's drainage. Oh, and for the proposed roof, we're going to discharge to infiltration system located underneath the front lawn. And try and keep the drainage patterns very much similar to the way they were before, and maximize the infiltration of the new rooftop. Action plan. Okay, so there's an existing sewer line that cuts from Geisel Library and down into the courtyard behind Hillary Hall. This is Hillary Hall again. Bertrand Hall is over here, Geisel Library is over here. There's an existing sewer line that travels down here. We have to relocate that, so that's what's shown here. Three new manholes to route that around the proposed building. There's an existing water line that's right behind there. That's, you know, it happens that we're not relocating it. Wouldn't be a big deal if we had to relocate it. But like I said before, this fiber optic line out here, that's the one we really can't relocate. So that's, then there's buildings serviced by gas pipelines come in over here. And there's an electrical transformer over here, we're demolishing that. All the utilities on site are privately owned by the college, water, electric, and not gas. And the sewer are all privately owned, privately maintained until they get to a meter pit where they connect to the town services at the perimeter of the campus. So that's utilities. I don't have a landscaping plan done yet, but you know St. Anselm's, they're going to do the landscaping upright. So that's definitely going to be part of our planning board submission. And then lastly, I want to talk a little bit about parking, and then I'll turn it over to Doug. Again, more of a planning board issue, but I want you to be aware. So the yellow are the various parking lots throughout the site, and we're located here. The plan is only to do 2 ADA compliant spaces, and that'll service both Geisel and Poisson Hall, and located in between, and have ADA accessible routes to both buildings. There's existing ADA compliant parking up here near the Welcome Center behind Joseph Hall. There's more down here in the courtyard next to Brady Hall, and one more here, a couple more, one more over here, so they're scattered. There's ADA parking scattered throughout the campus in small allotments. Keep those closer to the buildings. The larger parking lots are 214 spaces here, over 150 in these 3 little lots here, another 100 down here, another 300 out here. This is our biggest, newest parking lot, just over the town line into Bedford. And this is an increase in parking that was provided, I want to say 6 years ago now.
Ooh, I would say it's even more than that.
More than that, maybe
Yeah,
10.
it's when we
6 to
did
10.
the little quad.
Okay, yeah, so that's almost 12, I think, when we touched it. And then there's another 160 spaces here. So again, trying to keep the academic quad core center, provide the parking facilities, and then the sports facilities on the outskirts of the campus. So these are the game baseball field, game football field, game hockey arena, and then the practice field, practice soccer, baseball, some outdoor basketball courts out here. So that's just a quick overview of the sports facilities. Yeah, we're not looking to build a new parking other than the ADA spaces there, and that will require a waiver from the planning board because there's, the majority of the buildings are on this particular lot. We have to get a waiver to have the parking on a separate lot from the buildings. Again, our biggest parking lot's in a completely different town, just over the town line. So there's waivers involved in all that. So there'll be waivers for the number of spaces, and that's customary every time we come in to the planning board. We've done that before, and we'll try to maintain that same ratio. So, Doug, I want to talk about building,
Yeah,
please.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
You stated the library, is it at higher elevation or lower elevation than this
Six
building?
feet higher. The floor is six feet higher.
So the library is higher?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And one other thing, speaking of higher buildings, Alumni Hall, also here, is 5 stories. It's about 65, 75 feet tall. Our proposed building will not be the tallest building on campus. Alumni Hall is the tallest campus, and that's to the peak of the roof, and then there's a small bell tower that's even taller than that.
And what's the height of that?
I have some elevations that I
Great,
can show.
thanks.
And we can contrast and compare with
Yeah.
our elevations here.
Perfect.
So I was going to dive into that more.
Great segue.
All yours. Segue. Yeah.
Now that we have a little bit of overview on the site, I wanted to zoom in on the building a little bit and talk about the 3 floors that we have planned as well as the elevations that we have planned. So starting with the first floor, this is the most front-facing. The quad is going to be right here. You have the entrance drive right here. And so we have our most sort of public spaces, if you will, down on this level, including the classrooms and the auditorium, and of course the building services to the west side where they'll be least visible and most able to connect to the existing utilities. As we move up into the second floor, this is really dedicated to the nursing and health program. This is their floor, we like to say. So this is where they simulate what it is that they're actually going to be doing in this suite, which is securable. And so that's what a dedicated floor really helps with this. And we have some training that's dedicated to these students as well, and related to the sim lab. It wants to be on the same floor. So this is about the right size for that floor. And up on the third floor, in the, what we'll say is the most private section. Wants to remain a secret. All right, there we go. On the uppermost floor, we have offices for all the faculty and some classroom capability up there as well, including a kinesiology lab and some seminar spaces. So those are the 3 different floors, and when we elevate these floors on the campus, this is the side that would be facing the quad. So we have a more open area that's appealing to the entrance, appealing to the quad, showing off that second floor a little bit. It's a double-story space, so you'll be able to see it from the outside. Towards the road, it's a little more subdued and a little bit more contextual. And at the same time, we want to have these gabled roofs that we don't want to. We could have it a little bit lower potentially, but we think it looks a lot better and more contextual with these gabled roofs. And so so this is the south elevation, this elevation right here. This is the north elevation up here, facing the green. And if we go to the next page here, this is along the main entrance drive. So you'll be passing it, going this way. If you look to your right, that's what you'll see. And this is on the service side, so a little bit more, you know, service-oriented things on that side, but you still have the windows with the offices, the windows, and some of the training areas. And definitely want to show what this looks like from the road. In your packet full of photos, I know that there is one of the photos towards the back shows this same view, and with the existing town hall. And so we just wanted to match that and make sure that you know what you see there. In the background, you can see Alumni Hall, and here you see Geisel Library, the back of it. So we're lining up the back, keeping the lawn, and giving a nod to some of the existing architecture in this science quad, Alumni Hall and Geisel Library. So there's that view, and we can get a little bit closer, show that drive in. There's a little bit closer as we're going down the drive, once we enter those brick gates, right? So as we're driving down, we have trees lining the way. I kind of de-emphasized those a little bit so you can see the building, but there will be trees there. And again, we see Geisel Library here, and as we look from that corner of the entrance drive, and the quad green starts right here. That's what that corner looks like. So a clear entry, but subdued on the roadside, and with some gabled facades that nod to the other quad academic science buildings. And so Alumni Hall over here, and we have the library right here, and we have Goulet here. And so now we can take a look at these elevations compared to the same scale in the library as well as the Alumni Hall. So that's a roof.
Oh, going down. Just go ahead and second on this one. Or take over my easel. Oh, your board's bigger.
There we go. All right, so take a look at those elevations. This is the roof plan. And so we have that gable facing the quad on this side. Is that same gable that is on the other side. And this gable is to hide the mechanical equipment from the quad side. And it's kept back far enough from the edge here so that it's for the large part hidden from the roadside as well, along with the trees. Here is the library at the same scale as our elevations, 3/16 scale here. And so you can see that we have, this is just the quad side, the front of it. And so I can hold them side by side if that's a little bit easier.
And the quad side is the lower image on this one?
Fire.
Okay, so I did want to also show
Yes, that's
Alumni Hall, which is in the same quad, just adjacent to this building, but it is quite a bit larger. And so I need to actually get a little bit creative
On
here.
a sheet extension.
Yeah, I have an extension here. Full tricks.
Can you start set up
So
the
this
for the
is-
Yeah, you got it.
This is Geisel Hall, and that's that
No,
bell
it's
tower.
alumni hall.
Or Alumni Hall, sorry, thank you, Bill. So this is the bell tower that you mentioned?
Yeah.
And so these are scaled off of existing drawings, and so you can see the relative height between the two.
And what's the mid roof pitch on that, roof height?
For
Is it
the main roof.
66?
For the main roof here, we had the 66.
Yeah. Okay.
I can hold it now.
You done with it?
Any questions or anything else that you need to go back to?
Any members of the board?
No, I'm
At
good.
this point,
No? Continue. No questions from here.
All right,
That
so.
was all I had.
All right, yeah, so the main point is the constraints on the site. One of the other values the site selection committee was looking for, I wanted to touch on was just being front and center. The nursing program is kind of a very important program for the college. They want it to be, they didn't want to spend millions of dollars on a new building and have it tucked away in the rear part of campus. They wanted to be at that front and center location again, be on the academic quad. So this was a very important site component of the site selection process was to have that up front and center. Let's see, what else haven't we touched on? Yeah, again, if we had considered going to a two-story layout, we'd end up having to relocate that data line, or we'd compromise on our setbacks to our roads, our setbacks to our buildings, our location of our, there'd just be too many compromises to make the two-story layout. And particularly what Doug pointed out is the floors are separated by their use. You have the classrooms and the assembly space on the first floor, the labs on the second floor, and the offices and more classrooms on the third floor. And that's purpose-driven. So this is really the building that we want to build. This is the location where it belongs on the campus. So we're very strongly leaning towards this is the way where we have to be.
One question, in terms of the amount of space you're gaining, it looks to me what I see is you're taking the footprint of Poisson Hall, extending it a little bit and going up. Well, how does the square footage compare between, say, the existing building there and how much you'll be gaining when you add the third story to the site?
We're at 45,000 square feet for our proposed building. The existing building is
19,000.
19,000.
So it's 19,800, I think, is the exact one for the square footage of Passon now. And this one is actually 43,644 is we're proposing right now.
So you're more than doubling your square footage, so,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
It's important to note that we did explore expanding and what it would mean to be 2 stories, but even and it's not possible to do that without sacrificing some of these setbacks that Jim talked about. But if it were, the height restrictions that we have 15-foot floor to floor due to that auditorium, really, but also the classroom, these assembly spaces that really need a higher ceiling, and the simulation lab space that needs about 14-foot floor to floor, really at least. When you have those two things together and you have a roof pitch, we would need a variance anyway
Yeah,
to
even
make
for a
that
two-story
work.
layout, we'd still be at a 42-foot ask for the.
Yeah.
for a two-story layout, so.
So these were explored, and I just wanted to express that.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions?
Board?
Not at this point. Actually, I do have a question before you close it. I'm assuming the fire department has been made aware of this, or can you confirm that they have the equipment to be able to handle the height of this building?
Yeah, they've been made aware, and that they, like I said, this would not be the tallest building.
I mean, I would assume that, but I
Yeah.
just wanted to confirm
Yeah,
that they have the apparatus to handle this height. Okay.
A full drawing review is still pending,
Okay.
but this is only schematic design.
It's not the tallest building there, so
Yeah.
they obviously have the equipment.
All right, anyone else? Okay, would you like to continue? Would you like to review the variance criteria? How would you like to proceed?
yeah, I would like to review the variance criteria, and, sure.
All right.
See if there's any need to continue.
You- Again, if you have more you wish to present, we're certainly open to it. Your presentation has been quite thorough already, so unless the board other members of the board feel there's more that we need to hear regarding the
Not at
plan.
this point, I'd like to see the criteria, so.
All right. Please go ahead, and you don't need to read each of the criteria verbatim. They're already part of the record. If you just want to talk about the individual points, please go ahead.
So granting the variance would not be contrary to the public interest. There's no public health, safety, welfare threat from this building. In fact, it's a public safety big boon in that we're training more nurses, and that's a valued, much needed profession, particularly at this time. And no health. No threat, health and safety threats. The spirit of the ordinance is observed. It's the intent to secure of the ordinance to secure public safety, provide appropriate emergency responses, provide adequate circulation of light and air, and we've protected all those interests in the design, I believe. Again. Like we pointed out, it's not the tallest building on campus, and the fire department is taking good care of the college and the alumni hall, the taller building. The character of the neighborhood is not altered by granting this variance. We're maintaining that big front lawn, big beautiful front lawn that everyone loves so much, and trying to maintain some of the important trees around the building. Granting the variance would do substantial social justice. Again, the nursing education program is a vital community interest, and we're expanding the community nursing education program with this facility and enhancing its effectiveness. And the values of the surrounding properties will not be diminished because of the butter viewscapes are not impeded by the proposed building because we're set back 300 feet plus from the road. Again, we're knocking down a building, building a new building, so campus building density is very low due to large amounts of forested wetlands on site. So we're not, making any dramatic increase to building density, population, student density, anything like that. Special conditions that the property distinguish it, denial of variance results in hardship. So there's no hardship imposed by the campus on its abutters. And again, we're over 300 feet from the road, and from actually the college owns most of the structures on the opposite side of the street, anyways. So again, there's the college is its own butter. In that context, so there's no shadow effects from the larger buildings on anyone but the college property. The uses were proposed and reasonable. Again, site selection process, I identified this as the most desirable, best, and the location for the proposed building, given the limited footprint areas that we have available on campus. The criteria not established unnecessary hardship will be deemed to exist if and only if owing to special conditions on the property. Again, we've talked about the limited sites, the wetlands, the limited buildable area. One thing we didn't mention is that there's high tension electric wires on the western side of the of the campus that cut off a large chunk of the site from the campus proper. We don't want to destroy the character of the campus by getting into the high tension wire area. That's another constraint on the site. Site is pretty steeply sloping, and there's probably a 60-foot slope differential from Alumni Hall, which is at the high point of the campus, to some of the lower, the 300 lot parking lot. Probably a 60-foot drop. So there's some slopes that we have to deal with, and some great breaks, and that makes the ADA access challenging for me. And so that's just another minor constraint that we have to deal with. So I think that's all that I need to deal with on the criteria.
All right, thank you. Any questions from the board? All right, if you gentlemen would, well, I don't think you need to step back. I'm just going to say, if there are any members of the public who wish to comment on it, Jason is shaking his head, so he can't anyway. With no members of the public present to comment, I'm going to...
Well, I could as a member of the public.
Yikes.
We try.
Well, maybe it was important.
Yeah, I would think so.
If we can take if you gentlemen wouldn't mind, before we close the public hearing, I'll take a momentary pause to let Alan deal with his...
A little recess. Fair enough.
Either that or figure out how to silence his phone.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
All right, recess is over. Alan is returning to the table.
Fantastic.
And seeing no members of the public or no comment, I'm going to close the public hearing and the board will proceed to deliberations. Anyone? Any questions?
We have taller buildings in town already. One right across the street. In the mill.
Yep.
We have the church steeple in the middle of town. Yeah, there's a lot of taller buildings, so.
I think this building fits into the character of the campus. I think they are limited to where they can build due to the amount of space they have, due to all the utilities. I think going up makes sense versus sprawling out. You just don't have the space. It's a nice campus. I like the front lawn. Had my wedding pictures there.
Oh, boy.
Isn't that funny? But
How long ago?
long time ago. And it's not going to have an impact when you're driving by. So it's something that Goffstown, and I do emphasis, Goffstown, is proud to have in its town.
And I think I would concur with pretty much everything that Denise said, except my wedding pictures weren't there. No, I think it's a well thought out project, fits into the character of the campus, and Annie, the fact that you're also replacing an existing building without expanding the footprint hugely, you know, are all good reasons. Seems like a very good project. Alan?
I have a question, but it has to do with what we should do in the future is, how come the zoning on that campus hasn't been changed from R2 to something else?
Alan, thank you very much for asking that question.
I think when they start saying they're from Goffstown and not Manchester, we'll talk about it. I had to put it in there. I had to put it in.
I agree.
Because
I'm very proud of
Just a
St.
mailing
Anselm's.
address, right?
No,
Yes.
they say we're here in Manchester, but I always thought the political building was in Manchester. I just found that out today that it's not. It's in Goffstown.
Pretty close to the line, if I
It's in
remember.
Goffstown. It's good to know.
I'm just curious. I mean,
I would ask-
I think they're gonna probably in the future renovate or expand their buildings unless they're of historical significance.
Some of them are, I'm sure.
It's inevitable, but from past presentations, the college is not gonna really grow bigger in student population, or are they planning on getting beyond the 2,600?
We're at just close to 2,000 right now. There is in higher education, it's very competitive right now. Even if I wanted to get to 2,600, I don't think I could.
Yep.
To me, I think there's a question that I should ask, is finding out how do we go about changing the zoning there? Because the R2 piece has been something that we've had to come in front of. It's been asked of me, I've been here, some of you have seen my face because I've been there for 20 years now. But it is something that's come up in the past about why is it R2 and not a different zoning, but,
Put it to the voters by a petition.
okay. So.
That's the legal way.
Okay, so maybe it's something we can look at and kind of work with TF Moran and do it that way. But it's been asked. Again, we've tried to come here and try to explain what we're doing, so everyone understands what we're doing. And then, I don't mind. We don't do it that frequently. There's been some stuff that we've done in the last few years, but it has been a question that has been asked in the past of why we're in an R2.
Because seriously, you own both sides of the St. Anselm's Drive, for the most part.
Yep.
You own a big chunk in Bedford.
Mhm.
I just think it's a little hindsight not to do something like that, to your favor.
Yes.
Well, in any event, Alan, it's a question we can't answer here tonight, so.
It needs to be in the record, though.
Yeah, it's.
Okay.
He's putting something in the back of my head for me for later, that's fine.
All right, anything else from the board, or would anyone care to offer a motion?
Yeah, you want to make a motion since you haven't been able to do that for a couple of years?
I'm going to need a couple of minutes to put something together, so if somebody else has it, be my guest.
I do have notes, I'm just looking for my cover.
See, Gail, or Denise, you said it so well before, you could just pull all
Yeah,
that
just give me, I've
together
got to
into a
just find my
motion.
cover sheet so I'm not, where'd it go? There it is, right here, okay. I motion to grant St. Anselm College a height variance for a proposed 3-story building. I don't see the height on this, so please bear with me.
50 feet 9 inches,
50,
55
right
feet
there,
9 inches.
56, and 35.
Sorry about this. Where is it?
As presented.
As
So if you do
presented, yes,
something
because
different.
you have so many different numbers there, where they're medium and they're all the way. So, as presented, basing that on it's not contrary to public interest, you're leaving a beautiful lawn buffer, you're securing public safety in the town, you're your own abutter across the street, so it shouldn't be an issue there. The spirit of the ordinance is observed. Again, public safety is not affected. It fits into the campus, which to me fits into the neighborhood. Granting the variance would do substantial justice due to the limited space constraints and utilities. Going up 2 stories, 3 stories is pretty much required if you're going to do this all in one building. Surrounding property values will not be diminished. You own them. So I don't think that, plus beautiful buffer. That's my motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen, you have your variance.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, it was a great presentation.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, appreciate that.
Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah. Alan is our institutional memory here.
I think I've been in front of Alan a few times.
No, really?
We need that, we need that.
I'm supposed to be retired.
You are.
I'm not.
You're never gonna retire, who you kidding?
Architects just fuck dead, you know.
Speaking
They
of
work until they
retirement,
die.
Jeff Devan has represented the college for years and years and years, and he retired this past winter, so I got big shoes to fill. So,
Good for you.
I'm working on it.
All right, few little bits of housekeeping here, and
Okay,
Jason can go home.
Thanks again.
You're
You're
very
very
welcome.
welcome.
thank you.
Nice presentation.
Thank you.
All right, we didn't approve the minutes at the, in hindsight, did we do regional impact?
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
Thank you for the reminder.
You actually asked for it.
Okay. We didn't approve the minutes at the beginning of the meeting, so I'd like to, I do have one small correction for the minutes.
Okay.
On page 4, fourth paragraph, beginning with Harold McComas, I believe the sense of the second sentence there, it would not be contrary to the public interest because it would fit into the character, just, not that it would be contrary to.
Gotcha.
And that's my only correction.
Okay, good.
I make a motion to accept with said correction.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll abstain, I was not present at that meeting.
All right, we have Town and City Magazine in the correspondence folder for anyone who is interested.
Did anybody on this board ever read that? Did you ever
I
look
think
at it?
I
think
never
it-
have. No.
I think probably you should.
I have.
I mean, I think you should.
Do we have a copy? Do you have copies of it?
Good
I
night.
Thanks, you too.
have but one copy here. I believe this is available online, is it not?
Can I just scan through it?
Yep.
Thank you. Oh, it's a nice.
And with that, hearing no others, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, folks.